I'll just get straight to it. I'm a college student and this is my last semester until medical school. I've never been able to get a loan. I've worked 5.5 years to get this degree because I have to pay out of pocket, so it takes way longer. I've worked 2, sometimes 3 jobs at a time and barely had a social life. For this upcoming semester I reached my goal for tuition, so I quit one of my jobs so I could relax a bit. I was a server/bartender at 2 bars and an office job, so I always have cash hidden in my apartment in my closet in box, and before the semester starts a week or 2 before I deposit it so I can pay my tuition. My boyfriend sometimes stays over while I'm there or when I'm not. Since I've been saving for this semester, he's the only one who's been over. I've never told him about the box, but he knows I have to pay for school. Well, yesterday night I get home to put money in the box because I was gonna deposit it today and it's all gone. I freaked out and tore my apartment up thinking I put it somewhere else, knowing I didn't. I called my boyfriend like crazy, no answer. I didn't sleep last night, I was panicking. Then this morning he finally calls me back. I'm yelling at him about my money. He's acting all confused and like I'm crazy. He comes over, I'm still pissed off. After a while he finally admits he took it so he can borrow and he'll pay me back. Where the hell is he gonna get $14,000 from in 2 weeks? I went into a rage and called the police and reported a theft because that is what he did. Well, it's been hours now. I guess he got his phone call because his family has been blowing my phone up and his mother has said some really hurtful and terrible things to me. They've been harassing me for the past 6 hours now. It's stressing me out even more and I hate that I'm feeling bad for him, but he stole my money that I've been saving for months. His brother did call and he was respectful and said they'll help him pay it back and I should just go to the police station with him and tell them I want to drop the charges, but I really don't believe them. I could do that and never get my money back still. I don't know what to do and I hate that I'm contemplating doing this. I'm just really pissed off and have been crying all freaking day. Not the idiot. Stealing is wrong and he has potentially robbed you of being able to receive education. Whether or not his family reimburses you is irrelevant. Considering they are name-calling you and being hostile, it sounds like they don't think he did anything wrong or should take responsibility for his actions. I wouldn't believe you will see a dime from them, let alone in 2 weeks' time. Don't drop charges. Do not help him out. Quit responding to his family. Not the idiot. You meant to title this "You got your ex-boyfriend arrested," right? He stole 14 grand, that is not chump change. Is his family going to pay your tuition in full in 2 weeks? Great. They can let the prosecutor know restitution was made and work a plea from there. Block their calls. Tell the reasonable brother to pay up immediately and you'll corroborate that restitution has been made. Best you can do. Do not drop the charges until you have your money back in its entirety. Not the idiot. He stole from you. There's no 2 ways about it. His family should pay you back because he stole from you. And then and only then should you consider dropping the charges and let him worry about paying his family back, though you wouldn't be the idiot for choosing not to drop the charges either. 14K is so much money, no small sum. If this was a stranger who stole from you, everyone would say you're right for pressing charges. Him being your boyfriend, hopefully ex, changes absolutely nothing. He is a thief. He chose to be a thief. So he gets arrested for stealing. Update. Someone suggested when I go to school talk to my emergency dean and I am so grateful to you. With the police report I was able to get my school to pay for my semester again, thank you so much. I started a week late, but a week late is better than not going. Sadly the harassment continued and escalated, and due to what almost happened and all the texts and calls I was able to get a temporary restraining order on his mom, which she quickly violated somehow. After a few weeks I was able to get a little bit over $8,000 back from my money, and his brother did pay the remaining back to me. Don't worry everyone, we didn't meet, it was through a third party. Also, like most of you said, depending on the state you can't drop charges after the fact, so I couldn't do anything after the money was given back. At this point it's up to the court what happens. We haven't spoken nor do I care to. I'm finally moving in a month, which is a huge stress reliever because they won't know where I live anymore. A police report helps with a lot of things. I got to break my lease, thank God. Also, won't keep my money home anymore. Thankfully, since this is my last semester I won't have to work my bar jobs anymore, so no more money in my closet. I think that's all I have to update you all on. Again, thank you so much to all of you for your encouraging words and advice. It meant a lot, helped more than you can imagine. My husband, 30s, and I, 30s, have a 3-year-old son together, Max. Max is a sweet kid but has a difficult time in unfamiliar situations and can get overstimulated easily. A little while ago, my husband was across the country on a work trip, while I was home with Max. I got a call one morning from his manager, informing me that my husband had been in a car accident and was in the hospital. He couldn't tell me much but said that although he was stable, it didn't look good and that I should come as soon as I can. I obviously freaked out. I booked a ticket just for myself, because it would be almost impossible to travel with Max, and I could barely afford the last-minute ticket for myself. I called my mom who lives a few hours away and asked her to come watch Max while I'm away. At this point, I needed someone to watch Max for the time it would take for my mom to arrive so I could make my flight. Looking back, I probably could have handled the logistics better than this, but I was hysterical and was just doing things as I thought of them. I called 3 friends, 1 didn't answer, and 2 were unable to help. Luckily, we live close to my brother and SIL, who have a daughter, 17, Sarah. We are very close with them. Sarah answered the door and said her parents were out. I explained the situation and asked if she'd watch Max for a couple hours until my mom came. I should note that Sarah babysits for a few local families and obviously charges them for her services. We have never asked Sarah to babysit before. She showed some concern for my husband, and when I asked her again, she said something along the lines of, "Well, you'll pay me, right? I usually charge X." I stared at her for a moment, not really expecting that response, and then my friend who didn't answer called me back and said of course she'd watch Max. So, I took Max and left without saying anything to my niece. I coordinated with my friend and my mom, then flew to see my husband. He ended up needing surgery, but is making a full recovery. A few days after he was able to fly home, we had dinner with my brother and SIL. We were talking about the accident, and I mentioned that I had asked Sarah to watch Max. I also noted that I was a little upset that she brought up payment at that moment. My brother was surprised, and said he would talk to her as that's not an appropriate reaction. My SIL interjected and said she was proud of Sarah for advocating for herself. She and I argued and she said that I was entitled for being surprised that Sarah asked for money. To be clear, if I asked Sarah to babysit under normal circumstances, I would absolutely expect to pay her. It was unsettling that Sarah would bring up payment while, for all I knew, my husband was dying in a hospital on the other side of the country. I think it would have been more empathetic to bring up the topic of payment after I returned plus confirmed my husband was okay. My SIL is still being cold with me, and so is my niece. Am I the idiot for getting upset? In my opinion, you are not the idiot because, if I asked Sarah to babysit under normal circumstances, I would absolutely expect to pay her. I would normally be on her side. However, this was clearly a serious family emergency, and the right thing for her to do would be to help, or to ask you later on to compensate her in some more casual manner. Not the idiot. Like what? She was family, your husband was potentially dying, and her only concern was money. Like, she wouldn't even commit until she had confirmation of that. I have a daughter, and the last thing I would be is proud of her in those circumstances. I would be incredibly disappointed, as I would like to think I raised her better than that. It's not like you asked a stranger to watch him. I seriously do not understand everyone who is defending the niece right now. Not the idiot, you were having a genuine emergency, and honestly it feels a little bit cruel for a family member to bring up payment right that moment when you were trying to settle things so you could rush to be with your possibly dying spouse. If my child had acted like that, I would be ashamed at their lack of compassion. As for those saying free labor, yes, of course niece should be compensated for helping out, but you don't pay the ER doctor before the life-saving emergency surgery. They save you first and then ask to be paid. My sister and I aren't best friends, but we have a pretty good relationship. Good enough that when she got engaged, I assumed that I would either be MOH or at least a bridesmaid. She ended up not asking me despite having a bridal party of 10, but I didn't say anything even though I was a little hurt. I totally get that it's her wedding and that I'm not entitled to be in her wedding party, and eventually got over it. A little afterwards, my best friend got engaged and asked me to be MOH, and I happily dived into the responsibility, and it's been a lot of fun for the both of us. I've already been able to plan and execute a lot that has both made the experience fun for my friend and also a lot less stressful. On to the issue, my sister's MOH honestly dropped the ball. I know I'm going to be biased, but I've received complaints from family members and other friends. She hasn't put any effort into helping my sister with her wedding, Didn't plan anything, never responds to my sister's messages, and just generally isn't interested at all. None of my sister's other bridesmaids are stepping up either. They all have a reason for why they can't spend more time on my sis's wedding. My sister recently approached me to plan everything for her: bridal shower, bachelorette, and the actual wedding. She wants me to give her the same experience I've given my friend. I was a little offended because she only asked me after she saw what a great job I did for someone else. But she's my sister, so I told her I'd be willing to help if she made me a bridesmaid. I feel like it's the least she could do, and it would make me feel less like an errand girl and really part of the wedding. She refused and said that I'd make the numbers off and that I didn't have the look she was trying to accomplish, which really offended me. Like, at this point I'm just pissed. So I said fine, I don't have to be part of the wedding, but then she needs to hire me as a wedding planner because I'm not doing this for free. It takes a huge time commitment to do all of this work. She went crying to mom and dad now, and they're all calling me an idiot because I should do it as a sister. But she's basically asking me to do hours of work for free, which I feel like isn't fair. Now my family is saying that I'm ruining her special day by being selfish and making it all about me, so I'm starting to doubt myself. Not the idiot. She should have thought about that before asking 10 other people to be bridesmaids, MOH. She's not entitled to your help, just like you know you're not entitled to be in her bridal party. It's not your fault that her bridal party doesn't want to help her, and you have every right to ask for compensation for something that takes so long to plan. Stick to your guns and don't let your family guilt you into doing this for free. Not the idiot. When did it become that MOH and bridesmaids had to plan all this stuff for brides? I wasn't married that long ago, 2015, and honestly didn't expect them to plan anything if they didn't want to. I had a very low-key shower followed by a bachelorette the same day. And I planned my wedding, not them. I am sorry she is so rude, and especially the look comment. So essentially anyone in her bridal party is there for their looks and what she is trying to accomplish. Definitely not the idiot. I don't understand how any of the planning should fall on MOH, bridesmaids. Maybe the hen do, bachelorette, but all of the other stuff, well, that's a big nope. Why should anyone other than the couple getting married do that crap? And if they rather not, well then they can pay for a planner. I wouldn't plan a single thing for her, regardless of whether she makes you a bridesmaid or pays you. She needs to sort her own crap out, and now is a good time to establish boundaries, before she has kids that she thinks you should be on call to babysit.